Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Installment Scott Selections here for Saturday, January 28th. For again, today's play of the day, quick recap what happened yesterday. We had a nice easy winner in hockey with the Islanders team total under 3.5 goals at minus 150 on DraftKings. They won the game, but didn't matter. They only scored 2 goals, really never in doubt. Pretty ugly hockey game, a lot of defense and not enough offense. Islanders, once again, have scored less than 4 goals now in 12 straight games. So never in doubt, look for the winner here on Saturday. And for today's play of the day, going to pivot back to college basketball, look at a primetime game between Kansas and Kentucky taking place at roughly 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this match, we're going to take the home team in this one. We're going to take Kentucky on the money line at minus 138 on FanDuel. Time recording of 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Reasons why I'm going to take Kentucky in the spot. First reason I mentioned this time and time again, but I'm going to say it again because it applies. It's an unranked team favored over a ranked team, and there's been a lot of line movement in this game. The line opened up at Kansas -1. Now it's Kentucky -2.5. So the line has moved 3.5 points with a favorite switching in favor of the unranked team. And that's kind of alarm bells going off in my head that Kansas might be an absolute just trap play for the public. But to look at the recent form of these teams, Kentucky's been in much better form as the Wildcats have won each of their last 4 games by at least 7 points. Meanwhile, the Jayhawks have kind of fallen apart lately as Kansas has lost each of its last 3 games. And Kentucky, despite all of these struggles earlier this season, they've been very good at home. Kentucky is 11-1 straight up at home, so I do think they should look pretty sharp in front of the home crowd in this matchup. But to go through the actual efficiency rankings, Kentucky is slightly better at offense and much better at rebounding. Kentucky ranks 23rd in offense efficiency according to KenPom. Kansas ranks 25th, but the rebounding battle is really where they separate themselves because Kentucky ranks 5th in rebounding rate, while Kansas ranks 111th. So I do think that Kentucky should pretty much dominate the glass throughout this game. But Kansas, I mentioned that they've lost 3 in a row. However, the struggles against the spread have gone on a lot longer than that, as they are 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games. And historically speaking, the home team has done quite well here. ATS. The home team is 8-3 ATS in the last 11 meetings. But I know that Kansas started the year very well. Kentucky hit rock bottom a couple weeks ago, losing at home to South Carolina, their only home loss of the season. And that was the wake-up call they needed, apparently, because Kentucky came out and they ended up beating Tennessee, a top 5 team in the country, on the road. Then they beat Georgia at home, beat A&M at home, and beat Vandy on the road. So I know that the level of competition maybe has not been the toughest for Kentucky lately after the Tennessee game. But the point is, it does seem like this team has kind of turned a corner, and Kansas might have peaked a little bit early. They're currently ranked in 9th because, of course, they haven't adjusted the top 25 poll for the actual losses they've had this week. But the point is, Kansas is definitely going to fall in the rankings, and I do think that Kansas is a bit overvalued because of the fact that this team might have peaked pretty early. And I do think that with the current struggles and the fact that you have to now deal with Sheboy on the glass, I think Kentucky's going to dominate on the boards. I think they'll ride the momentum of the crowd, and I think they'll win the game. But it's mostly based on the actual line movement and the fact that the unranked team is favored over a top 10 ranked team in the country. It seems very fishy, and usually in college basketball, when that's the case, you tend to back the side that doesn't really make much sense. And I do think that Kentucky laying 3 is a little bit risky. Maybe I'm still a bit traumatized because of what happened in the Michigan State game where they won but didn't cover. So I'm going to play it safe, and I'll take the money line with the team that is 11-1 straight up at home to get the job done once again on Saturday nights. Play that once again here for Saturday, January 28th is going to be on Kentucky. Money line at minus 138 on FanDuel. Bye, everyone.